Thank you for staying with us. And now let's look at today's papers, and we're starting with The Nation. Major headline in The Nation: conflicting court orders on convention, PDP factions clash. Controversy widens over Wike military officers clash on land. Stocks rally 2.6 trillion and capital gains tax review plan. Okpebolo has performed, says Yilwada Oshiomole. Tinubu to editors, champion national unity, report boldly. Makinde has made Ibadan livable, says Obasanjo. President sends executive bill to create Cocoa Board. And Kanu asks appeal court to quash dismissal of his no-case submission.
Okay, so I have the Cocoa Board story because traveling back home, farming is all I saw. Well done to the hardworking people of Edo State. So the president wrote to the House of Representatives, and his letter was read by the Speaker of the House of Representatives, the Federal House. And he is asking, also soliciting for an accelerated consideration and passage of the bill titled the executive bill to set up the National Cocoa Management Board Establishment Bill. That's what the bill is titled as, the National Cocoa Management Board Establishment Bill. And this bill, of course, seeks to establish a cocoa management board to regulate and promote and harmonize cocoa-related activities across the country for other collective purposes. And the establishment of the board will enhance an effective coordination of cocoa value chain, improve the standards, and strengthen Nigeria's participation in the global economy. On my way, we went through Onwa, through the other parts of Esako, halfway through Ondo and back to Okada, so to cut off the Benin City angle because the roads are terrible, and that's Aochi Benin Road. You cannot go through it. And I saw a lot of farmers right in front of there spreading their cocoa outside. So the business is huge. I saw, I met a lot of my farmer family members who are doing huge farming. And so, a board like this would also regulate and improve that. Agriculture is the way to go. When we have food security, at least we have less to worry about the insecurities that, whether international or national, that, or local, that we'll have to face. And so this is huge for me. I hope that the president's letter, just as he has asked, will be given an accelerated hearing. And I hope that when the board is finally established, it will improve the business for those involved in the chain.
Amazing. So mixed reactions have continued to trail Tuesday's altercation between the Federal Capital Territory Minister, that's Nyesom Wike, and the military officer, Navy Lieutenant A.M. Yerima, over the development of Abuja land, allegedly belonging to a former chief of naval staff, that's Vice Admiral Awal Gambo. We already know how the confrontation happened. Everybody has been talking about it. We dealt with it extensively yesterday. But let me take some of the reactions. So reacting to the incident, the Defense Minister Mohammed Badaru said the ministry and the military high command would protect every soldier on lawful duty. He spoke to reporters during a ministerial news conference on the Armed Forces Remembrance Celebration and Remembrance Day in Abuja. He said the ministry was looking into the issue already. He said at the ministry and indeed the armed forces, we will always protect our officers on lawful duty. So we are looking into this issue, and we are sure that any officer on lawful duty will be highly protected. So we will not allow anything to happen to him so long as he's doing his job, and he's doing his job very well. Then we have another reaction here. I'm trying to get this here. Yeah, so two lawyers, Sebastian, Honorables SAN, and Prince Will Dike, also backed the minister, and they are calling for the prosecution of the Navy, Lieutenant Yerima and his team. Also, the former Anambra State Governor, Peter Obi, said the face-off reflected institutional disorder. And General Buratai had said in a statement verified on Facebook yesterday that the altercation between Wike and the naval officer posed a clear and present danger to national security. So everybody has been, adding their 2 cents to what really happened.
Okay, so I think the same story in The Nation. Sorry, Aramatu. And I saw Larry Olayinka, that's Wike spokesperson's insistence that just all these, opinions from other ex-military officers, as well as him taking the support of the minister, insisting that they had no papers on that land. Ordinarily, because the minister of the FCC is a lawyer, should know better that he should come with a court order. He doesn't have to enforce a court order physically.
Okay.
The court bailiffs can't do that for him, so there will be no need for this confrontation. So his style might have been a thing accepted in the past, but when this is brought into fore, it should not have been. He should have comported himself. This is my opinion.
Yeah.
Okay.
You give
As a lawyer, then
we'll talk about your opinion later.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have the story where the message from the president to editors. He said, "Champion national unity and report boldly." The president said this at the 21st annual conference at the Nigerian Guild of Editors in Abuja yesterday, where all of them were there. They said the role of editors. The president urged editors to be conscious of their critical responsibility in nation building, noting that the stories they tell shape how the world perceives Nigeria and how Nigerians perceive themselves. He also said, in quote, he said, "It is our country. What should be worrisome to you is the image of the country we project to the outside world. Your institutions must help build a nation of credibility and integrity." He said, "Poverty will not define us. We shall overcome it. We are doing something about terrorism and banditry, inspiring our armed forces and encouraging them to defend the sovereignty of this country." He also said that he also maintained that the administration's economic reforms, including subsidy removal, currency unification, and upcoming fiscal measures, were part of a deliberate strategy to restore confidence in the Nigerian economy and improve citizens' welfare. He also advised the editors to use the power of the media to project a positive image of the country and described the press as a vital partner in his administration's efforts towards national renewal and democratic consolidation.
Oh, thank you. Let's look at The Punch. That's our next paper. Major headline, Wike-naval officer clash. Ex-generals fume as federal government orders probe. Be fair, truthful in government criticism, Tinubu tells editors. And then we have PDP insists on Ibadan convention amid court orders. Mohbad's family demands fresh probe. Bars wife from using surname. Wow, this story is still making the papers. OPEC reports shows Nigeria underproducing crude again. Then we have National Assembly approves Tinubu's 1.15 trillion naira domestic loan. Reps probe 20 trillion abandoned federal properties, 20 trillion naira abandoned federal properties. And we have My Critics Now Praise Me, says Obasanjo. And finally on The Punch is Bamidele Kalu defer on alleged plot to impeach Akpabio. What do we have?
Do we have time to take?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So Nigeria's average crude oil production rose marginally to 1.4 million barrels per day in October 2025, according to the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries monthly oil market report released on Wednesday. So the figure, they say, represents a slight increase from 1.39 million barrels per day recorded in September, but still falls below the country's OPEC production quota of about 1.5 million barrels per day. It also marks the third consecutive month Nigeria has failed to meet its assigned target. The last time was in July 2025. Now, the production shortfall comes amidst a higher oil production quota output request to be put forward by the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, or Heineken Lokbobiri, at a meeting with the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries expected to hold this month. Now, last week, Lokbobiri disclosed during an interview with the media team of the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission that the country's current quota, pegged at about 1.5 million barrels per day, no longer reflects the true production capacity. And according to him, the upcoming OPEC meeting provides an opportunity for Nigeria to make a strong case for an upward review to at least 2 million barrels per day.
Okay. Let's go on a short break. When we come back, we'll continue with the newspapers. Stay with us.
Your View will be right back.
Thank you for staying with us. We're still looking at the papers and we're still in The Punch, right?
Yes.
Okay, so the National Assembly, they said, approved the president's 1.15 trillion domestic loan proposal. They said it was approved from the domestic debt market to finance the 2025 budget deficit, completing the government fiscal funding plan. They said the approval followed the consideration and adoption of a report presented by the Senate Committee on Local and Foreign Debt during plenary. They also said that they explained that the 2025 Appropriation Act provides for total expenditure of 59.99 trillion and an increase of 5.25 trillion from the initial 54.74 trillion proposed by the executive. So they said so far 14.10 trillion, out of which 12.95 trillion had already been approved for borrowing. So the newly approved 1.15 trillion representing the unfunded portion will now complete the government's deficit financing plan for the fiscal year. So that's the reason why he borrowed that
I have a story as well. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo on Wednesday urged the Oyo State governor not to be discouraged by criticisms of his administration, saying those who abuse leaders today often return to praise them later. And he said that he made this remark during the inauguration of the new Ibadan Central Bus Terminal at Iwo Road, a facility comprising 2 mega bus stations with waiting halls, ticket spaces, eateries, public conveniences, open vehicular parking, a power generating house, water reservoir, elevators and escalators. And he described the governor as Omoluabi. He advised him, that's Obasanjo advised him to remain focused on ongoing developmental efforts. He says, those abusing you today, I wish I could do his voice, would praise you tomorrow. I was also abused too. And they have come back today to praise me. So that is how it is. And, you know, it just made me, you know, sometimes we do some things in the heat of the moment, everybody thinks you're wrong. They insult you. Then after, they will now realize, oh, you were right. So it happens to everybody. And sometimes government work, I think it's right to say, can be quite thankless. But posterity will speak up for you. Let's go to the Daily Sun. Major headline, Daily Sun. At NG Annual Conference, Tinubu to Nigerians, we must join hands to defend democracy. 2027 polls under threat over party infighting, Kalu warns. Senate dismisses reports of alleged plot to sack Akpabio. Governor Okpebolo hails Edo's rebirth, reels out achievements across key sectors. PDP National Convention would hold as scheduled. NWC Organizing Committee. Abuse of Constitution, reason democracy fails. This INEC fingers Nigerian presidents as main culprits. Kanu, court asked appeal court to stop November 20 judgment at trial court. What do we have? Okay,
so I have Governor Okpebolo's, he says my first year is 100 days in office, and he's commending, you know, I had a lot of other people commending, but I will take only his angle. So he said he's celebrating this. He has created 10,000 direct and indirect jobs. He's launched a 1 billion interest-free loan scheme for small businesses and traders in the state. He disclosed that he inherited 600 billion naira in local and foreign debts and 180 billion owed to contractors, and you know all of that. Through his Shine agenda, a lot of that burden has been reduced. He said when he got into office, he assumed office, he met a state weighed down by rot, by debt, insecurity and distrust. And his administration has conquered that. He said on security, they have, you know, there was a war zone. When he came in, plagued by cults, killings, kidnappings, armed robbery, cybercrime, and over 300 cult-related killings were recorded, and that all of that has been stemmed by the creation of the Edo State Security Corps. He supplied 60 Hilux vans, 400 motorcycles to security agencies, and he recruited 2,500 officers into the Edo State Security Corps, including my cousin. I saw his uniform. And he said on healthcare, they're looking to, you know, to build 18 primary healthcare centers in 18 wards across the state and provide diagnostics machines across local governments, build new 100-bed specialist hospital. What I can only say that I observed is that, you know, there was a stem on, you know, insecurity really. Because I went into the villages, into the markets, you know, nobody knew who I was. Maybe they do, but I didn't see, and I traveled freely. Not as I thought, you know, the way it was highlighted, they could kidnap you. But then something is failing, particularly in Abia, where I'm from. It didn't look like they have a local government chairman.
So you didn't feel government
there
presence.
are no proper street planning. The city community suffers from other things, but it's another matter. We're giving you day as day. Because, you know,
any more stories?
Okay, so I have the story where they said rumors have been flying around that they removed the Senate president. So the Senate leader, that's Opeyemi Bamidele, has dismissed the media reports alleging a plot to remove the Senate president, that's Godswill Akpabio, describing them as false, misleading, and intended to sow confusion within the National Assembly. He said there was no attempt by any of our colleagues or any discussion around the possibility or otherwise of removing the Senate President from office. He said we are totally united and have developed a zero-tolerance attitude toward distraction because there are urgent issues of public importance that we need to attend. Reports like this are calculated to create confusion, he said. They said his clarification also, even the Oji Uzokalu said somebody confronted him, one-on-one, and he said that, were you there? Were you around when such a thing happened? So it's all
everyone's denying
false.
that.
Yes. So it's all false.
Let's go to the Vanguard. Major headline, Tinubu backs NGE's proposal for media tax relief, VAT exemption. Super Eagles under pressure, undeterred. Anniversary of Kwebolo Hills Edo's rebirth reels out achievements. We've taken that. Right-of-way crisis. Telco's operating costs soared to 5.8 trillion naira. That's NCC. United Nations names Nigeria, Mali among 16 hunger crisis hotspots. Obaibena announces Leke platform to challenge global content dominance. Wike, no officer or soldier on lawful duty will be punished. This according to the Minister of Defense. Presidency clarifies Trump's threat not behind NGX sell-offs. PDP court extends order permitting national convention till Friday. And finally, inadequate gas throws geometric power into first blackout in 60 days.
Okay, let me take the major headlines. So President Bola Ahmed Tinubu yesterday endorsed the plethora of requests made by the Nigeria Guild of Editors, the NGE, in a bid to rescue the distressed media sector in the country. They also told the editors to exercise their gatekeeping role with patriotism and fairness, warning that irresponsible reporting and misinformation could undermine national cohesion and democratic stability. So President of the Nigerian Guild of Editors, Mr. Eze Anaba, had in his welcome address raised alarm that the present economic realities in the country had put the media in distress. Consequently, he urged the president to grant corporate tax relief for about 10 years, value-added tax, VAT exemption, tax deductions, and give the media industry to access to affordable financing that would help, the business. And so the president responded and said, okay, he has heard, he's going to look into it, and that the request is in his pocket. So hopefully he will do something about the tax.
Who took the inadequate gas through?
I took it. Okay. So the geometric power Nigeria's foremost integrated electricity group has suffered what he termed his first blackout in 60 days. And according to the communication and senior brand and communication manager of the Abia Power Electricity Company, which is a distribution subsidiary of this group, they said that they attributed it to failure to a lack of gas supply from the geometric power business partner, as Energies, operators of the Nigerian National Petroleum Limited joint venture, which is as Energies on the oil mining lease. So they were the ones who failed to provide gas, and at 4:33 a.m. yesterday, there was blackout in the area where they provide gas, in the 17 local government areas in Abia State where they serve, and where they serve, according to them, both faithfully, both locally and internationally, they've served this area. I hope that gas does not continue to fail. Yeah, I'm going to talk more than that.
Ladies, so that's the wrap on newspaper reviews today. Let's go on a short break. When we return, we move to our special feature of the day. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.